The weekend of the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
I may be late.
Okay.
Okay.
I
That
don't
shouldn't be a
know.
problem.
I
I may be
don't.
hungover.
I have no idea what the ETA is on my return. So
Gotcha.
Okay. Well, just keep me up to date.
Yeah,
yeah,
for sure.
we decided, I don't know, a couple days ago we're going to New York. A couple of us just driving up there and
Nice.
spending the weekend.
That'll be nice.
Sounds stressful, but fuck it.
It's a pretty okay drive.
Yeah, I've been thinking about making that drive. I got a buddy up in Connecticut stationed there for the Navy, and been meaning to visit him for like a year now. But it's just like every time I think about making that drive, I'm like, I don't want to drive that far. It's a long drive.
Yeah, that's kind of an intense drive there.
Yeah, that's the problem with
Well,
Chicago.
it's only like 4 hours, right?
Maybe for
Where?
you.
For us?
To New York?
Yeah, from Cleveland.
No, that's 8 hours.
Yeah, there's got to be. You might be thinking Philly might be 4 hours.
Yeah, Philly is 4.
Christ, I can't even get places in my
It's
own
only
state.
600 miles away.
Oh, I know. It's the long way through Pennsylvania, though.
Huh.
Yeah, my family used to take that drive every year when we were young,
Nice.
and it is just so
Well, I'm
boring.
looking forward to eating like an asshole for like 3 days. So
Oh yeah,
That was me this weekend, man. All weekend I was just like, we don't really want to cook. You want to get pizza? All right. We got that pizza left? All right, we'll have that. Oh, okay.
welcome to Downercast.
yeah.
Yep.
Whoa.
All right, let me make sure this is gonna work here. What?
Okay.
I like that we have the most important news story for last this week because that is incredibly important because I don't think anyone knows.
Yeah, and it's also kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. It always is. It makes me happy though. I like that we live in a world where creators have to explain how to pronounce the titles.
Yeah. All right. You guys ready to do this thing?
Yes.
Sure.
Thumbs up. Most excited podcast of the year.
That was like the thumbs up at the end of Terminator 2. That was like the
Yeah. All right. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Going around the room, we got Knobs.
What's up?
And we got the Hannah.
Hey.
If you're watching the live stream, sorry it looks terrible. Skype is just the worst. Sorry.
It's not surprising.
Yeah.
Are
So,
you guys getting that flickering too?
oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty bad.
Is it just me or is it everybody?
It's everybody. It's just low quality. Skype's saying like, "Hey, your call's quality is low. Hey,
Hey, listen.
do you got stuff running?" I was like,
Hey,
"No, Skype. I never do."
It's hot outside, so we're gonna phone it in today.
Yeah, everybody's tired. Skype. Whatever. We're still
Yeah.
recovering from E3. You know.
Yeah. I'm still recovering from breakfast. Oh, Jesus.
It's a tough life. All right, we talked about E3 last week, so let's catch up on 2 weeks worth of what you've been playing here. And let's start off with Knobs.
2 weeks.
2
Yep.
weeks ish.
2 weeks.
If you forgot what happened last week, that's okay. I mostly did too.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I'm assuming I had 2 weeks worth of Battlefield, but
Probably say. I'm just gonna write down BF4 times 2.
yeah, that was it. We had another great moment. I think it was wasn't last. It was Friday night, our Friday night Battlefield night. Remember the story that I told you we had that foot race for a set of tags between Don and I? Well, it happened again, except this time I was laughing the whole way. What was made it even better is I ended up getting him. I beat Donnie again to a set of tags. I get because the party chat had got messed up and it got all cattywampus, and I didn't hear him screaming into the microphone. Don't you do it! Don't you do it! Don't you do it! And then by the time I get back at the party, he's like, "I'm not happy with you, Knobs. You know what you did." And I'm like, "What are you talking? Are you talking about the thing with the tags?" Because I turn around and I get to sync and I get my tags and I turn around and I just see Donnie just like shooting at me. But yeah, so that happened again. I had a couple great sniper battles again. I ran into the Nook again. I was trying to sneak up on him. Like, I saw he was playing, so I hopped in his game thinking I'd get one shot in on him before I hopped back out. Yeah, he killed me. And he promptly killed me 3 times again. I started laughing.
Touche, good sir.
So I sent him a message. He was joking around. I was like, I thought I was going to sneak up on you. He's like, well, you should come join us. We're a bunch of camping snipers. I'm like, all right, maybe.
Go on.
Go on. That sounds like my bag. But I fired up Battlefield, Dead Rising 3, and then promptly got an invite to play Battlefield, so I didn't play the DLC yet.
Oh, you're killing me.
I have it downloaded.
Yeah.
But I did have something to break up the monotony. I played a whole bunch of Nine Crash. I can't.
Same here. I can't stop.
I'm still like, and I think I'm getting progressively worse at it now, and it's infuriating.
I keep getting so close. I keep getting within like 500 of my top score, and then just failing out.
Nothing makes me happier than being able to infect you with this dumb Japanese game.
Oh, it's a reinfection. I know I played this in high school.
Yeah.
Well, I started off so hot, and I was like, oh, come on, this game's easy. And now I cannot get back up that high as far as, like, everything's kind of rolling out. Like, I'm getting hugs at, 1,200, 2,000. I was like, it's driving me nuts. Like, dude, like my third one was like 5,900. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna roll this game.
Nope.
But no, I just keep getting worse.
That game is trolling you now.
It is. Anyway, I know there's something in there I missed. I played over the last couple weeks, but I do know 2 nights ago I downloaded because Games with Gold had a discount on Strider.
Oh,
so
nice.
I bought Strider.
Yeah, you did.
And that game is really hard.
Oh, really?
Like I loved the first Strider for the Genesis, and I played the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Like, I've never beat it, but I know I've made it to the last level at more than one occasion.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't make it past the first level in this game.
Jeez.
Oh, really? What are you playing it on?
Normal.
Ooh.
Like,
something don't seem right there.
I learned this slidey stabby move where I can slide into enemies in little doorways and whatnot, but
yeah.
The jumping just seems so floaty that I don't remember it being so. Like, it's cool. The guy does this weird, like, spread out somersault as he's.
Hello!
It's like he's doing a slow motion pinwheel, like, as he's going over or jumping stuff. But the enemies, like, shoot a lot. Like, it's insane. Like, there's so many bullets coming at you. I was like, I'm not even quite sure how to really time a jump yet in this game, and you're shooting 90 bullets at me. Like,
can you deflect them with the sword?
No, I don't think so.
I didn't even try.
I thought that was a thing you could do in the game. I thought, I don't know if you learn a skill later or what, but
that would be extremely helpful.
Yeah.
Because
let's find out.
Like, I fell in this big hole where I'm slowly, like, kind of like triangle jumping my way back out, and I'm just getting shot left and right. I get to the top, I get to the guy that's shooting at me, and as soon as I land on that platform, I'm dead. I'm like, that's awesome.
Huh.
So I decided to Google this Strider bullet deflection, and the first result here is GameFAQs, of course. So bullets, how do you avoid them?
Well, you bring up a good question.
Well, apparently
there is a skill you learn where you can deflect.
At
Nice.
least it's not me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And unfortunately, the answer is not your face.
I was starting to think I was not that. Am I this bad at platformers again?
Am I
Like,
bad at games now? Like, is this when this happens?
Is this what happened? Battlefield just sucked my soul away.
Am
and
I an
I'm
old
not,
person now?
I'm not. I'm just a battlefielder. Like, is
Yeah.
that the crux of my
Is
gaming?
this my nightmare?
Could be. It could be. But I am so excited to play that Dead Rising DLC. I was gonna play it today when I got back from golfing, and I'm just like, I laid on like, I had to set an alarm to wake up
Yeah.
because I knew I was gonna put on a movie. I'm gonna fall asleep.
Yeah.
As long as you don't put
But-
Excalibur on, then you're okay.
No, I had something loud and obnoxious on, and I still knocked myself out.
Nice.
But yeah, I can't think of anything else. Anything else that really came out that I really wanted to check out.
Wow.
All right, then,
Like,
Hannah,
it's-
what about what have you been playing?
Oh man, I've been a little all over the board. So played some Nautica Crash, having the same problem as Novs. I'll get right next to my high score and then just stop.
It's
that's how that
infuriating.
It is. It
More
really
like
is.
Nautica Choke. Hey,
Oh, that's a very different game.
drop the mic. I'm
Yeah,
not dropping this mic. It's very expensive.
yeah, for sure. I played a little bit of Ali Ali because they came out with the patch for it on Vita, so that there's no risk of save file corruption anymore,
Or
or
crashes.
random crashing
Yeah.
and stuff. So that was nice. I'm not good at that game, but man, do I love it.
Yeah.
I lost my groove in it. Like, that's one of those games you got to consistently play, otherwise you're like, what? Because it's such a different control scheme.
Yeah.
You know, your jump is you releasing the button.
Yeah. It's just.
It's-
It's kind of like a combination of SSX and then I don't know what sort of skating game has you land that deliberately.
Yeah, like you have to hit the down button as you land, otherwise,
Yeah.
And-
The game
and-
just crashes.
yeah, it's great because they have my favorite feature for any type of game where I'm trying to either A, get a high score, or B, like a time trial or anything like that. They just have the restart button in the upper right corner of the touchscreen, so at any moment I can go, nope, this isn't going well, and just
Nope,
restart
bombing
instantly.
out of this.
Which is the best and worst thing, because
Yeah.
you get in that infinite loop of, nope, not good enough, nope, not good enough.
Yeah, it's
It needs to be perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the demo for Tony Hawk 1 where if you don't do the Christ air through the windows, and it's like, nope, starting back over. Nope, nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah, and no, if you don't do the Christ there through the windows and land on that rail, you're like,
Yeah, exactly.
Ronald's blown.
Yeah. College.
Oh, man.
Oh man, you got a manual. Where's the manual?
Played a little bit of Mario Kart 8 this afternoon with my brother-in-law, which is a ton of fun. That game it looks so good. Every time I see it, I'm like impressed that it's on a Wii U.
Yeah.
It's just got such a great. It's it's a Mario game. It's got good style. It's got great textures. Even a little bit of anti-aliasing on that thing would have gone a long way, though.
Yeah.
Just a little bit on those jagged edges, but even that, you're not noticing that when you're going that fast. Who cares?
Yeah.
We bumped up. We did the multiplayer Grand Prix, and bumped up the difficulty from 50cc to 100cc. And I promptly went from consistently going, in first or second to being like seventh or eighth.
Oh, nice.
So the difficulty levels on this are not messing around. I don't know if it's been like that for a while, but I was ashamed of my performance in Mario Kart today on a very deep and personal level. Just like, oh, you're better than this. But, had to play Luigi, had to play Waluigi.
Ugh.
The death stare is still hilarious.
Yeah.
It may be played out for some people, but man, every time you see those replays and he's just like,
He's mean mugging.
just ready to ready to end you for just even being near him.
Yeah.
He's yeah. It's that game is that's a reason to get a Wii U for me at this point.
Yeah.
If I can talk certain people into it. Actually, ended up hanging out with forum member Olemu yesterday for a while. He lives in the area,
Yeah.
and we've sort of been trying to hang out since the first Chicago meetup that happened before the 2012 official TVGP meetup.
Any dude that live in
Hell, hang
Illinois
out in March.
should hang out with that dude because he's pretty cool.
He's great people. And so we, just hung around, but he is a big fan of The Last of Us, and had me play through the intro, because I've been planning on picking it up for the PS4 since it's coming out, and I've heard nothing but good about it.
Yeah.
So he sat me down and said, just play through the intro, because I like watching people who never played the game and haven't heard anything about it play through the intro.
Yeah. If anything's going to sell you, it's that intro.
Yeah, because it allows him to sort of relive the magic of that moment, and that is one of the best video game intros I've ever played.
Yep. And it goes downhill from there.
It goes, yeah. And I'm super pumped to play the game now, because that first teaser and the way everything in it is so deliberate.
Yeah.
And it's done for a very specific purpose. And I can't even talk about it in depth, because if you haven't played the game yet, it will ruin a lot for you.
Well, there's just so much in it's maybe 5 minutes. There's just so much that's happening.
A little bit, yeah. But they put you in control in a situation where there is no control to be had.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, one of the most effective ways to sort of mess with gamers at this point is, here, yeah, you can control this person, but they have, basic human limitations, so good luck.
Right.
So I had a blast hanging out with them. Had a ton of fun playing the beginning of The Last of Us. I think we ended up throwing on The Matrix and just chatting for a while, because The Matrix is a great background noise as far as movies go.
Yeah.
It is. You can relate almost any topic back to that movie depending on what scene you're in. If you're me. Maybe that's just me.
What? I do that to a lot of people who are golfing. When there's a hazard in front of you, I was like, hey, there is no spoon.
Oh, man. So the Thursday before the E3 show, I was working late, and I decided I didn't want to go straight home. I wanted to relax for a little while. And fortunately, I work pretty close to Galloping Ghost.
Right.
So I made a little side trip out to Galloping Ghost and played a bunch of games.
Oh, nice.
Does your wife know you made that stop?
Oh, yeah, no, I called her and I was like, hey, you got anything going on? Do we have anything? No? I'm going to go to the arcade.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see you eventually. She knows how it is. She went up there with me once. She's like, this is really awesome. I see why you love it. I like it. I don't like it for 8 hours.
Never take me back here.
Yeah, never bring me back here.
Yeah.
If this is on the itinerary, trip canceled.
Yeah.
So I played a little bit of Contra. I've actually never played the arcade version of that. It was sort of it's tough. It's interesting. It's very difficult to do any sort of angled shots in that game with a joystick, as opposed to a D-pad. Played the 1983 Star Wars movie game, the vector graphic one.
Oh, that one's good.
Gorgeous. This whole trip made me really start lusting after any sort of vector arcade cabinet.
Yeah.
Because, man, are they gorgeous. And, oh, man, are they expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's a horse of a different hue, especially what's the tank one? Battle Zoom or something?
Battle Zone?
Battle Zone.
Yeah. That's one that's up there. Also played right next to it I think it was 1998 Star Wars game, the big giant TV one where you're going through the 3 movies.
Oh, that's the one with the single joystick?
Yeah. That one's always good. But the joystick on theirs is really messed up, and you can't do any sort of fine aiming with it, so good luck.
Yeah.
Played a little bit of Mission Craft, which is that wonderful top-down vertical shooter where you're playing as StarCraft sprites and with StarCraft sound effects. It's basically just StarCraft remixed.
That weird bootleg.
Yeah.
StarCraft shmup.
Crazy awesome. Played some of the classics, Pac-Man, Q*bert, Miss Pac-Man, all those. And I eventually settled in for about 3 hours straight on one single machine.
Okay.
And this single machine was a vector graphics, monitor. And it was, let me put it this way, I got so obsessed with this game over the course of 3 hours, I bought a little pin straight from the 80s.
Skype is such horrific quality, I can't read that.
Is that Gravitron?
That is Gravatar.
Nice.
Gravatar.
I didn't even realize time was passing.
Yeah.
So this game is one part moon landing, where you're trying, the lunar lander, I think is the name of the game. Where you're trying to, adjust your thrust and land gently on the planet. It's one part asteroids, and just it's insane. Your control layout is you have two buttons on the left-hand side that control the angle your ship is pointing at. So you can turn all the way around 360 degrees, going one direction or the other. You also have a thrust button, like you do in, I think Asteroids has thrust as well. It's been way too long since I played Asteroids.
No, I don't remember.
And a fire button, and you have a tractor beam. Use the tractor beam to pick up fuel, because every time you thrust, you burn a little bit of fuel. But luckily, the reason it's called Gravatar is because everything exerts gravity on your ship. So you start out in the middle of the screen, and there's like 4 or 5 different solar systems that have certain bonus points amounts. And it's like 2,000, 4,000, 6,000, 8,000, and 9,000. So obviously, clearly that's indicating difficulty level in sort of a shorthand. It's like, okay, this one's only worth 2,000 points. It's sort of your beginner level. This one's worth 4,000. It's a little harder, but you can get through it. I think I got up to the point where I was at probably about 6,000 or 7,000 points, enough to be at number 4 on the high scores list. But there was about 100,000 points separating me from number 3, so it's not really a feat. I became so obsessed with this game that I had to stay there. And it was that situation of just, all right, just one more. Had I actually been pumping quarters into this machine, I probably would have gone through $50.
Yeah.
It was absolutely. I haven't had a game do that to me in that context. I've had games do that to me, like big, large epics, like Assassin's Creed 2. I get that obsessed with the game. I haven't had a game that simple and that straightforward really grab me like that ever. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think any game has grabbed me as much as this game did. To the point where I was pricing cabinets for a solid 3 days on eBay, and okay, well maybe I can just get the PCB and build a cabinet. How much is a vector monitor? I could do this. Really, really thinking.
Your wife
about
is
it.
just like, Brian, please stop.
What, buddy? Yeah.
Think of the mortgage.
The car. So yeah, the cheapest I found was $3,000, but it was 3 vector games in one, so it's $1,000 per game. You could justify that.
Think
right?
of the value.
Think of the value.
It's the Steam summer sale of vector graphic arcade games.
But
if I'm spending $3,000 on anything, it is a top tier pinball table.
Yeah. But man, there's something about and you can't replicate it. I've tried. I was trying to okay, maybe I'll throw on MAME on a really nice display with some nice, I forget what they refer to them as, high level shader language. That's it. On MAME, and load this up, and you cannot replicate a vector display on a raster display. It just
looks weird.
It just looks weird. It doesn't have the right brightness. It's not the same. The pixels just don't. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
And I need that vector beauty.
Guys, I need it.
I need it.
I need it in my life.
This obsession, in a span of 3 hours, I went from vector games are really cool to are people manufacturing these? Why aren't we making these? How much is a Vectrex? When can I get one of those?
Local man starts business making vector monitors. News at 11.
You know what? I'm pretty sure if I went into that business, Galloping Ghost would love me because they need to replace those parts occasionally.
Yeah.
And they're borderline impossible to find, as I discovered, unfortunately. But yeah, if you hear me talking about Gravatar, there's a reason.
Just turn the other way or just smile and
Turn
nod.
the other way. Avoid it. This is gonna be an obsession for a while, I think. But I'm fairly happy with said obsession. So, and hey, if anyone knows where I can get a Gravatar machine,
Anyone knows if you can hook me up?
yeah,
And meet you in
I
some
need
sort
it.
of dark alley. I just gotta have it, guys.
I just need it, man.
Y'all got any more of them vectors?
I need. Where's?
Yeah.
Just mainline it. That's all it does is lines, right?
Yeah.
That sound probably didn't play well on the audio podcast.
You should watch the live stream at twitch.tv/E1M1 Network.
So that you're not confused or disturbed.
What was Knobs doing?
So,
Hello.
other than my trip to the arcade and my newfound obsession with vector graphic arcade machines, I also played a ton of Brutal Legend for TVGP Game Club.
Oh, yeah.
God, that's what I forgot to do this week.
Yeah, me too.
And that game is just so much fun. I'm not even playing it on like normal or I'm playing it on just straight easy because that game is funny enough to where I will just play through and laugh and enjoy it.
Well, and
listen to
anything
metal.
other than easy, it's way too hard.
It sort of is.
Yeah.
Even on easy, I was in trouble a couple of times during the final battle with General Lion White.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, oh, okay, that's why I'm dying. Okay, I need to figure that
Well,
out.
this game's not messing around.
Yeah, and actually, I discovered this is one thing I don't think I ever did when I first played the game. If you hold down the Y button while giving orders to a set of troops, you can literally order like one specific type of troop to do one specific thing. Didn't know you could do
interesting.
that. Yeah, so you hold down Y, you sort of claw hand it and hold down the left bumper. And you move the stick onto the thing you want them to attack, and you tell them to go attack it with right on the D-pad.
That's all I ever did. There's a different way to move everyone around?
Yeah, you can just move everyone at once, which is what I do. I put the beacon on something, and I just say, hey, everybody, go kill that.
Wow. I
Yeah.
never knew that about the single unit thing.
Yeah, there's a tutorial and everything. I just must have ignored it.
Yeah.
That's all I ever did was send one specific group to go to get these, one specific group to go get those, and to spread everyone around. And I was like, there's got to be a way to move everyone at once.
Yeah, it's called left. You get near your troops, you hit left on the D-pad, and they will all follow you.
God, that
Wow.
game's weird.
Yeah. That game's super weird. You have to pay really close attention, and because apparently you'll just miss giant portions of the control interface that would have helped you, trim your playtime down from 18 hours to like 15.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too much into detail on my playthrough, just because I want to save some of that for the recap that Scott and I are going to do.
And hopefully people are playing it for the first time, because I feel like a lot of people missed it.
Yeah, and it came out at like the perfect time for that game, and I'll go into that more when we do the Game Club recap, because it was in that heyday of music. Like, that game couldn't have been made at any other time in gaming at all, except for maybe like the late '80s, and it wouldn't have been the same thing.
Yeah.
But I'm having a blast reliving this game, and I completely forgot how things shook out. I remember like the beginning. And I remember how it ends.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of that stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
So I got to a point in the middle where I'm like, oh yeah, that guy shows up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this
Dude,
happens.
Lemmy's always the best surprise.
No, not Lemmy. Halford.
Oh, yeah.
The other character he plays.
Yeah.
Which made me incredibly happy. I was like, wait a minute, is this gonna? Oh man, okay, yeah, we're good.
Yeah.
But basically, when you go into the Great White North, Scandinavia-looking place, I forgot Brian Posehn was in that game as the hunter.
Yeah,
and he's just like a total jerk about everything, and it's the best. Oh God, that recap's gonna be 4 hours.
Sounds good
I'm
to
gonna
me.
go.
That game's
I'm
great.
gonna go into every little detail about that game. This song was playing when this happened, and this is awesome because of that. But the last thing I've been playing, and Boston, I know you've been doing this one.
Oh, yeah.
I've been playing the Final Fantasy V 4-job Fiesta.
Let's talk about. I've actually been streaming this disgusting downward spiral of myself. Twitch.tv/Boston Hannon if you want to watch
Yeah.
a grown man break in front of your eyes.
So your first job, your win job was what?
Monk.
Monk? Okay. Mine was Black Mage, so the beginning of my game was a blur.
Yeah, so was mine. I've never had Monk as the first one, so you don't have to buy any equipment at all. You just punch the crap out of everything. I completed. I think it's 6 hours through, and I'm halfway through World 2.
Okay.
So I think this is the fastest I've gone through Final Fantasy V ever.
Yeah. I have a very bad habit of all right. Here's what happened with my gameplay. I discovered probably about 3 hours in that I couldn't run away from battles, and I just thought like maybe I was putting in the wrong command. So I looked it up, and it was like, no, I'm playing on a DS Lite. I'm playing the GBA version, and you hold L and R to run away from the battle.
Yep.
Turns out my right trigger doesn't work.
Whoops.
So I guess I won't be running from any battles at all.
Oh boy.
Because I don't want to have to tear this thing apart and fix it.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of taking every battle as it comes and winning it.
Yeah. What are your other jobs?
My second job is Berserker, and my most recent job is Ranger, which I can't assign yet because I don't actually have the crystal shard for it yet.
Yeah, you'll have it in like 10 more minutes.
Yeah. So I have to get that.
You haven't gotten your Earth job yet?
Not yet. I just got out of the library near
right.
Arnak.
Yep.
So,
My jobs are Monk, Mystic Knight, Ninja, and Samurai. So
that's an interesting lineup.
I have nothing but the most damaging offense in this game.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge I've had so far is trying to burn bosses faster than they can attack me because I have no healing.
Yeah. That's my current issue. I have Black Mage, Berserker, and Ranger. So right now I have 3 Black Mages and a Berserker, which I just basically can't control.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Berserker is literally you attack, and that's it.
So, for those that may be getting the Berserker class in 5, in the first world there's an island called Crescent Island, and on it there are these guys that look like they're riding the moon. If you kill them, they'll drop these death axes. Basically, they have a chance to cast instant death on people.
Yeah,
and at that point,
in that version, it's Death Sickle.
Death Sickle. There you go.
Yeah.
And at that point, your Berserker can walk through a ton of bosses. Bosses that specifically are not heavy, which is about a third of the bosses. So, so far, this has been one of the strangest fiestas that I've had, because I have all 4 purely offensive. It's the difference from last year where I had Red Mage, Blue Mage, Time Mage, and Berserker.
Oh, wow.
Or at least that's what my save file says.
Yeah. You ended up finishing that, right?
I did.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty easy.
Yeah, I didn't finish last year, unfortunately. I forget what my party was, but it didn't end well.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to stream this year, not only so I could try to impart some of the insane amount of Final Fantasy V knowledge I have stuck in my brain, but also so I can go back and say, oh, that's right, that's what my party was.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I do love playing it on portable, though, because I have the DS battery, the DS Lite battery. It lasts like 20 hours.
It's incredible, especially with GBA games. I mean, it goes
disgusting.
forever.
It's the best thing ever because I can just quick save, and that's the other great thing about the GBA versions of these games is you can just go to quick save, and it does like a save state, and then just load that back up and turn it back on, and you're good to go.
Yep.
Just phenomenal. So I'm not terribly far into the game yet. I'm still in World 1. I still have to do the last crystal and then plow through the rest of the game.
Yeah, good luck with that Earth boss, by the way.
Yeah, as long as I get through that, I think I'll be okay. I don't think my last job is going to matter too much.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear what you're gonna get. Because there's a couple of classes that are pretty good there, and there's a couple of classes that will take a little bit of time to get everything out of it.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be hard to synergize your team.
Yep.
Synergy.
Yeah.
Man. But yeah, I'm definitely having a good time with the Fiesta this year, and having it on a portable makes it a lot easier to keep it consistent and just be like, oh, I'm just going to grind through a little bit. I think I'm like level 20 already.
Oh, wow.
With
I'm
everybody.
not even 20 in
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
so
halfway through the game, and I think I'm 16.
Yeah, my mentality for every Final Fantasy game is, okay, I got to an area, I'm going to grind a little bit, and by a little bit, I mean, I'm just going to... And once I got the Berserker, it was just like, I would walk around, I would get into battles, I would get distracted by something, I would come back to the battle, and everyone would be dead.
Yeah.
Which is... It's like, that's the perfect way to play for me. I might just put, like, another Berserker in there so they just chop through everything.
Oh, have you fought the Sandworm yet?
Not yet.
Have you fought it with a Berserker before?
No.
Okay. Let me
So
give you
what
a
do I
pro
have to
tip
do?
so you don't rip your hair out. Kill your Berserker before that fight. Honestly, he can't stay alive. He will kill your entire party.
Okay.
Because basically what the Berserker is almost guaranteed to attack one of the empty holes, which casts gravity on your party. You'll be dead in no time flat.
Oh,
yeah.
Nobody wants that. All right, that's good knowledge to have.
And actually, I talked about this quite a bit on one of my streams too when I was fighting the Sandworm. They mistranslated like only one line in this game, and it was when Mid says, "Don't cast magic on the Sandworm, or you'll be sorry." That's wrong. You can cast magic on it, just don't cast magic on everything on the screen, or else you'll get totally boned.
Okay.
So,
I think I can handle that.
yeah, he's accidentally lying to you in a really weird translation way.
Yeah, which will that'll happen.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much. I mean, that's the last of what I played this week. I got a bunch of games from the Steam sale that I'm definitely looking forward to. I picked up RPG Maker VX Ace.
Oh, nice.
Which is going to be sweet. And I also picked up Octodad, Deadliest Catch.
I picked that up
which
too.
I was super excited to try out, and I think that's all. It's been really sad because every time I see something on the Steam sale, I'm like, I own that already.
Yeah.
It's like, that's sad.
Yeah.
Was that a bundle, or did I go out of my way to purchase that?
Yeah. How long have I owned that for?
Yeah. But yeah,
since 2009.
Yeah. No big deal. I, of course, played a bunch of Final Fantasy V. I fired back up. I had a bunch of games on PlayStation Plus for the Vita that I hadn't yet downloaded. And I totally forgot until someone mentioned it online that you can make folders for your Vita. And I was not doing that at all, so I had to go spend a bunch of time throwing stuff in folders and deleting old games I'm just never going to play, like PSP games. Like, I had the second Dissidia game on there. I'm not going to have 400 hours to dump into that. Yeah. So I spent a little bit of TLC time with the old Vita.
Nice.
And then I tried to do some remote play with PS4, and just... for some reason at this new house, just not working. I tried to do Direct Connect, that wasn't working. Yeah. Tried to do the wireless one, that was even worse. So I don't know what's going on.
And you're in the same room?
I'm literally like 3 feet in front of the PS4.
Wow, that's
so
odd.
Almost,
is there like...
I could Direct Connect via a USB cable. Like I'm that close. Yeah. So I don't know what's.
I wish that were an option. Actually, that would be sweet.
Yeah, me too. I'd get a USB extender.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's weird. I have to try and figure out if there's something I can do to make that better. So I downloaded. I haven't started yet, but I downloaded the on PlayStation Plus this month is the Sly Cooper. Game.
I haven't downloaded it, but I did purchase it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that, and I didn't feel like starting that last night, so I popped in Danganronpa. again.
Oh, okay.
So started playing a little bit more of that. Got probably about another hour and a half through there, trying to pick it back up and try and figure out what I'm doing in that game because I don't entirely know yet. So,
Yeah.
but I still really like it.
Nice.
I did spend a little bit of time back in Transistor. I got myself back to the point where my save game got corrupted before and saved it
Okay.
there. So hopefully whenever I have time I can finish that, maybe.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about this last week because E3 was going on, but my fiance and I played a bunch of the Destiny alpha.
Nice.
was
I'm
it?
really glad I played that alpha because I now actually know what that game is.
Lay it on me.
So it's Borderlands 2 plus MMO. So it's a Borderlands MMO.
So they beat Gearbox to the punch on that one, huh?
Yes, but here's the thing. I don't know if I want that.
Okay.
So there's kind of three sections of the game. There's this this PvP area that I'm so disinterested in. I didn't even go in that area.
Yeah.
There's an area called the Tower, which is basically Stormwind. You know, it's basically the one hub town where everybody goes for your mail and your guns and to they call it decrypting, but it's like Diablo where you identify items.
Oh, okay. I've always found that annoying in games.
It's actually not bad because they never seem to give you unidentified items for quest rewards. They're just like, hey, this dude you beat dropped something. Oh, it's it's encrypted. Go to town to decrypt it.
Yeah.
And then there was only really one map in it since it's an alpha, and it was old Russia on Earth. And it was, to start out, was really big, and then at some point they patched it and they're like, I don't know, we put more in there, and it easily doubled. I mean, it's just this hugely massive area.
Crazy.
I really like the hub world stuff, and I actually really like the main quest stuff. Excuse me. The thing that I don't like, and this is really weird, and I hope at some point they make this kind of an option you can toggle, is there's three main areas on Old Russia. There's this level 3 quest you start out with at the very beginning, and it's just like, hey, go to this place, fight through this dungeon, and then, hey, you're done. And then you unlock the rest of the stuff in the game. There's this level 4, I think, level 4 area that I'll get to in a minute, and then there's a level 6 area. You max out at level 8 in the alpha. There's a level 6, which is basically like an instance dungeon.
Oh, nice.
My fiance and I were in a party, which they call fire teams, which it actually works really, really well.
Nice.
Except unless one person gets too far away from the other one, then you kind of can't find them. But that seems like an alpha thing.
Probably.
But that was weird because it said, "Oh, it's required 3 players." I was like, "Okay, I don't."
That's an
weird.
odd requirement. Literally.
So you hop in, and it puts the parties are maxed out at 3 people. So you hop in, and they just put another person in our party. It's like, okay, here you go. Go through the dungeon. We fought this giant spider tank. We fought this giant eyeball. It was pretty okay. They should have said you need to be level 8. Level 6 was way too low, or it was just imbalanced because of alpha stuff. But the thing that I thought was really interesting was the level 4 area. They say, go find quests from beacons. I was like, I don't understand what that means, but let's hop in there and wander around.
Yeah.
And any individual area in this larger map has around 3 beacons that are kind of hidden off in the corner. You go investigate those, and they give you a quest. And it can be like, well, kill all these enemies in this area, or kill these enemies and pick up some of the stuff they drop.
Yeah.
Which sounds like an MMO quest, but they make it easier because if there's a lot of weird things they're doing in this game, like you can't pick up other people's ammo. So, like, if a
Weird.
box of ammo drops, everybody in the party gets one box of ammo. So, like, I can't run over and, like, scoop up all the ammo. Everybody gets that box of ammo.
That's good.
And same thing with quest items. So it's like we went into an area and we killed a bunch of enemies. 3 enemies dropped quest items. So we got 6 of them because there were 2 of us. So kind of interesting stuff like that seems like it just makes it easier and you're just not fighting over stupid stuff. Like even the collectibles in the environment, there were like these this plant you could gather that seemed like it was used for something that just isn't in the alpha. We could both harvest that thing.
Oh, that's good.
So it was kind of like, here's one of these things, and then we both wandered over and both harvested it. So it's not like whoever sees it first gets it. It seems like it cuts down a lot of that BS.
Yeah.
So it's not much. It's an anti-troll tactic.
Totally, and well, because that's really important because, Binary Viking says WoW actually does that now too. So that's interesting. Maybe that's kind of the new, like MMO standard. The really weird thing, and the thing that I'm not necessarily sure I like, is when she and I were in a fire team together and we were just doing these beacon quests, we would get into areas where the beacon was sort of driving us to.
Yeah.
And there were other people there. And they're just people that are also playing the game, I think playing the same quest.
Okay.
That are just kind of doing the quest at the same time too. They're not in your party, but they're not like AI. They're just other people around doing stuff. There was one kind of cool part where an optional public quest opened up.
I heard about these.
Yeah, and we were just wandering around, and then just out of the sky, a spider tank drops. And it's just like, hey, here's 2 more fire teams. Try and kill it.
Yeah.
You got 15 minutes. It's like, oh, okay, sweet. And we didn't, so it just left. We succeeded on another one, and we got some sweet loot. I'm not necessarily sure that I really enjoy that specific part. I like the public quests. That's kind of cool, but I kind of want it to be just Borderlands 2 when we're kind of doing this wide open public wandering around thing. You know, I just want it to be her and I, or her and I and someone we invite to our fire team. It's not really like she and I. It's hard for both of us to play games at the same time lately, because we have to keep getting up and doing stuff in the middle. So we kind of got to a safe place and then just kind of wandered away for a couple minutes. And when we came back, there were like 2 or 3 dudes shooting us. There's no friendly fire, but like shooting us because it seemed like they wanted us to go help them with the quest. And it's like, but I don't want to go back to orbit, which is kind of like the loading screen, kind of get your party together area.
Yeah.
Because I'm in the middle of a quest, but I don't want anybody else to rely on me because I have to go do stuff. You know, like I don't get like 8 hours to sit here and play Destiny. So that's the kind of thing that on the surface it sounds like kind of an okay idea. It's like, yeah, I guess if you need help, yeah, you got a bunch of other people hanging out. But it's sort of like I still kind of want it to just be Borderlands 2, where it's just the 2 of us in this world kind of co-op without any of the competition stuff. So it just seems like a really... I'm not going to say it's a bad design choice, because it makes sense. It just seems really weird for a game that... It seems like in the middle for a game that's between Borderlands 2 and a full-on MMO, for this really weird kind of weirdness. You know, I don't know. Lobo in chat says, I'm with you, Boston. Guild Wars 2 changed from an instance system to a more public quest oriented. The worst choice in my opinion, but maybe it's what people like now. Maybe. I mean, it seems very inspired by what MMOs are trying to do now, and then putting it on the Xbox 4, or the PS4 and the Xbox One. So,
And it also seems like that's the preferred type of multiplayer for what I guess they're calling the Minecraft generation now.
That sucks.
Yeah, that does suck.
I
That is
don't like
terrible.
that at all.
I have heard that so many times, like on anything. I've been listening to a ton of stuff, like post E3. They're like, "Oh, the Minecraft generation," in reference to like No Man's Sky.
That sounds to me like the MTV generation, right, guys?
Yeah.
Like that. Ugh.
Yeah, it's repellent, but I can't think of something better off the top of my head.
I'd imagine something like that is going to be a toggle in the main game.
I'm
But
hoping.
do you
'Cause, like,
want this, do you want this stuff to happen? Yes or no?
I really hope, because that would make me. I actually like the core game by itself. I really like the shooting in a way that I never liked Halo's shooting. I like the movement. I wish the classes were different. Every class can use all of the guns. They just get different grenades, it looks like.
That seems silly.
It's weird, but it's kind of not a problem, because it's not like, oh, picked up this great gun, but my class can't use it. It kind of stops that kind of weirdness.
Yeah.
Especially when it's, in the future. It's like, oh, I'm a warlock, so I can't use this type of gun. It's like, no, come on. We figured.
No, I can still do this.
Yeah, we figured this out. We still have trigger fingers. I just really hope that it's toggleable, because I feel like this is kind of specific to how I play games. I don't want to play with other people until I want to play with other people. Like, I don't want this sort of thing where it's like, oh, these dudes are coming, oh, they're helping, yeah, and it's like, I don't, no, thank you though. That's not what I'm into. So,
yeah. We're not going to get swept up in the moment of people showing up.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like, oh, look how cool this. Oh man, I'm going to record this on my PS4 because all these people came and helped me. I don't know.
Yeah, go team.
Yeah, I'm okay. The other thing too that I find really funny is there's been a lot of attention paid to Peter Dinklage's performance as Ghost, this little floating computer dude you have with you. It's really not bad.
It isn't.
People need to remember it's an alpha, so this build is probably a couple months old.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter Dinklage does a pretty good job playing a robot. So people, there's that now famous line that says that wizard came from the moon. Yeah, it's a little weird, but who cares? Your main character doesn't speak, so like I don't find something more interesting to complain about, because a famous actor playing a robot. Also, the dude from the Cree light bulbs commercial is in there. That guy from Fringe, that guy with that really crisp voice. He's there as like a quest giver too, and no one's complaining about him. And he like sleeps through his line. Everybody sleeps through their lines in an alpha like that. Like, I don't. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Care about something better.
For sure.
So I'm very excited about the Destiny beta coming up in like 2 weeks or something. Just to see if there's more, just to see if it's improved. Is it a newer build? Will they give us more stuff? At the end of the alpha, they give you a bunch of like level 12 equipment, and it's like, oh, sorry, we're maxing out level 8, and I'm like, oh that stuff
awesome.
looks so good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited about that game. I'm very happy I pre-ordered it, and I'm happy that there's another game for my fiance and I to play, where we're being cooperative and not competitive, because that's not the type of game we want to play together. Today I played a little bit more Watch Dogs. I finally finished Act 2, which feels like it should have been about 4 acts, since it's the longest thing in the game.
Yeah.
I've still, against all odds, I'm kind of enjoying that game. Still do not like the main character. I really like a lot of the characters. I really like the villains. There's a villain in there called Lucky Quinn.
Oh, yeah.
Very old Irish gentleman.
That is Chicago crime.
Yeah, he is very
Right
much
there.
Chicago crime. And there's something about there's something about how they animate how his face moves that looks very much like a man that's so old he's like paper thin.
Yeah.
You know, there's something about like how they animate his mouth or something, and it's just he's not this big villain. He's not like this guy who's shooting up places, but he can still. There was one line where you're minor spoilers for Act 2. There's a part where you're sort of masquerading as this guy who's coming in for an auction.
Yeah.
And you meet up with Lucky Quinn, and he goes, I don't detect an accent. And, like, in that one line, you're like, ah, crap.
Yeah.
Like, it's just this
He
confidently
knows.
delivered line where you're just like, I have to go. But it's not like, in most games, I feel like they would have this villain that's like Voss from Far Cry 3. You know, it's this big, bombastic thing. It's just this old dude who runs Chicago. And you know, so if you haven't, it seems like a tangent, but if you haven't listened to the commentary track for Wedding Crashers, you really should, because the director brings up this good point where he didn't have to write for what's his face in there? Oh my god.
Who, Vince Vaughn?
No, the dad.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. They didn't have to write for him to make him an imposing character because
Yeah.
you've seen him in so many movies. You know he's imposing. Like, you just know when you look at him, you're like, oh, well, yeah, he was the bad guy in Batman Returns. So, okay. I know not to mess with him. That's how I feel.
Christopher
Walken, thank you. He didn't have to write anything for Christopher Walken to make him, like, seem menacing, because you just know he is. Like, he can give you that look, and you're like, oh, God, he's been so many bad guys. Don't say anything to him. Oh. I feel like that's how they were able to write this character, which is sort of like, you look at him, and he gives you this look, and it's just like, I might have peed myself. And I feel like that's what this game does really well. When it's not the main character, it's really, they have these really great kind of subtle moments with some of these characters. Like, the female main character that you're wandering around with is really great, and her animation is great, and the story they have for her is really interesting so far. The other bad guy you're with, your kind of old partner, is a little over the top, but
Yeah.
he's at least playing you in a way that's pulling the story along. So it's kind of, I still kind of find myself interested in what's going on with it. And as a guy who works in IT and really loves tech, they don't do the I'm hacking the Pentagon sort of thing. It's sort of like, oh, I'm gonna hack, click. We need to wait for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And like,
It's doing a thing.
yeah, and like they showed an IP address on the screen, and it was this actual long, legitimate IPv6 address.
Oh, nice.
And I was sort of like, okay, all right, cool. Like,
And the fun part is people are going to be like, that's fake. That's not an IP address. That's not how they look.
yeah, and it's like, it was like, all right, it's a little bit in the future, so hopefully we're using IPv6 at some
Here's
point.
hoping.
But it's kind of cool to see from a binary Viking in a chat says it's compiling. Yeah, basically. But it's never like this thing where, it's not gone in 60 seconds. Where it's like I'm hacking in traffic lights. It's this actual real feeling and real seeming thing. So it's kind of, it's a little touch, but I'm appreciating. It's like The Social Network, where he was writing a bunch of scripts, and it's like, oh yeah, he's in Linux, and he's just writing these things that look like actual scripts. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's those little touches that are kind of neat. So I really wish that I could get remote play working, so I could at least do like the side missions on the Vita, because there's just so many of them. And I also wish Ubisoft would have taken the control scheme from Assassin's Creed 4 and just put it on the Vita remote play for Watch Dogs, because it worked okay in Assassin's Creed 4.
Yeah.
Watch Dogs remote play does not.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. So I really need to kind of wrap that game up so I can get back to Infamous Second Son, wrap that thing up. I've that a year into the PS4's life cycle, I have too many games I need to play.
Yeah.
You know, that was not a problem with the PS3. So, kind of an embarrassment of riches. And the last thing, so I bought my fiance a Wii U for her birthday.
Oh, awesome.
Oh.
And the Hannah said, you know, you could use Mario Kart 8 as a system seller, and I did.
Nice. Very cool.
I bought the Wii U Mario and Luigi bundle. So it comes with new Super Mario Brothers Wii U and new Luigi Wii U. And then I bought Mario Kart 8. I already have Wind Waker HD, and I bought Super Mario Brothers 3D World or Land, whatever, the catsuit game. Mario Kart 8 is super great. Actually, setting the Wii U up is something that I haven't really necessarily heard a lot of people talking about. That was super easy. Since I have a Nintendo ID, that basically said like, "Hey, you got a Nintendo ID?" I said, "Yeah." And then I put in my username and password and my email address. Said, "Okay, cool, you're done." Like we brought over your Mii, we brought over your wallet.
That's impressive.
You're all signed into the store. It's hooked up to your Nintendo account. Like everything, you're good. You're done. Because I'd already set all that stuff up on the 3DS, and it just now the 3DS and the Wii U just talk to each other. Like I made a change to my Mii on the Wii U, and then now it's just changed on my 3DS.
You added a beard.
I did add a beard. You are correct. And just that OS is pretty nice. I wish that the way that the Wii U control pad works was the way that the Vita worked with the PS4, where it just happens. It just works. You don't have to calibrate or whatever. It just something figures it out and it just works completely correctly. Mario Kart 8 is really good. As we've been talking about. I could not find locally. I could not find a Wii U Pro controller, of course, because nobody can keep those in stock.
Yeah, those are nice.
So I bought in the meantime, I bought a Wii remote and a nunchuck. It's getting me through. Hopefully, so thankfully Amazon Amazon sells Nintendo controllers, even though they don't sell Nintendo consoles.
That's
which led me to actually go into a Best Buy to buy my Wii U, because I buy everything on Amazon. And when I can't, I was sort of like, where do I buy things again?
Where do people buy things?
How did I used to do this? And I certainly didn't want to go to GameStop because I know they were going to do a pretty aggressive upsell, especially on the Wii U.
Yeah,
which
don't deal with that.
On some level, good for them because they could probably get a lot of money out of upselling on a Wii U. So I went to Best Buy and got their last Wii U they had on store. The Best Buy near me was dead, absolutely dead. And of course they it's funny as someone who knows about games and gaming. When they were trying to sell me the coverage plan for the console, I said, "Oh, do you want the coverage plan? It's like $15. It covers like 3 years." And I was like, "No, thanks. We take pretty good care of our stuff. It's not going to be a problem." And Nintendo has such a great warranty themselves anyway. I wasn't really interested in Best Buys. And she said, "Well, if you get the Red Ring of Death, we can't really help you." And I was just like,
That's adorable.
I was like, I know that's wrong, but that's really actually an interesting sales tactic because the Red Ring of Death was so huge that everybody knows about that. So that's actually pretty good. Where it's like, oh, I don't want that to happen to my Wii U. I mean, we'll get it. That's actually pretty. I wanted to be upset. Where I'm like, that's not a thing that can happen. And I was sort of like, well, maybe that's pretty smart. Interesting.
Name drop Red Ring and Death, get you extra sales.
Yeah, exactly. It probably does.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Oh, can that happen to my Wii? I don't want that to happen. The game that I was not expecting us to play as much as we did, not enjoy as much as we did, is the Super Mario Brothers 3D Land, whatever. It's literally Mario Brothers 3 with the 4 characters from Mario Brothers 2, and in 3D. With a cat suit and a cherry you can pick up that adds another of your character on the screen. And it's really great. In a way that I was kind of surprised about, because I thought it would just be a Mario game. But it kind of takes the best parts of the 2D multiplayer ones and just throws them in a 3D world. And there's just a ton of content. The bosses are really good. There's a lot of levels where we just finished World 3, and I think we played for like 4 hours. And we're not even getting everything in each level. There's 3 green stars in each level. Some of them, we're just not even getting any of them. It's like
what's a green star?
I don't know, man. You're picking stuff up.
All right.
Whatever. It actually, there are like these large Bowser like stone statues in certain areas, and you need a certain number of green stars to unlock the level that's in that statue. So it kind of gates you into not necessarily the main path, but kind of these optional, harder secondary paths.
Yeah.
So it's kind of neat. I mean, we're not collecting, we're not going out of our way to collect them, and we have plenty of.
Did you read it too?
Poke Chop Salad said you can have 5 Luigis with the cherry, and the other Jay-Z says that sounds like a drink order. So we're not going out of our way to collect them, but we still have enough to kind of progress naturally through all this stuff. And it's great. It's been a good experience so far, and hopefully Bayonetta 2 comes out soon. So I'm super excited. But that's all I've been playing this week, so let's take a break.
Eric.
Warm in here.
Oh, yeah. Did not turn the air on low enough in here.
God, Skype is the worst.
It really is. It's being terrible today.
You're wearing the shirt to the podcast you're on. Don't be
Yes.
that guy.
Don't be that guy.
I am that guy. I have to be that guy. Oh,
He's a fan first.
I am a fan first. It is true. I called it. I am crashing from this Red Bull.
Red Bull, maybe get that 32-ounce monster I used to drink.
Oh, those things were brutal.
The BFC can.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Okay,
Where did
let me
it go?
pull up show notes here.
I was going to say, I had them up, and now I don't.
Oh, man, I had one of those fucking zits, like, pop in, like, right here. Like, right in the bridge of my brow.
Oof. It's one of those where no matter what you do, it hurts.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I can't wear sunglasses. I just feel like you got a pimple. Like,
Yeah.
it's like pustulio is growing, and I feel like it's sagging into my vision, and
It's digging your brain.
it hurts. And I can't stop playing with it. It's the worst part.
Are you going to draw the face on it? You have to draw the face on it.
If it was on my cheek, maybe. It's like, God, I love that episode.
Oh, God, that whole show is just fantastic.
Okay, I am ready to start here whenever you guys are.
Alrighty.
Let me stretch here before I just pass out. All right. Oh.
It seems like chat's spiraling out of control.
I was up till like 3
Good.
playing Brutal Legend last night, so I
Nice.
like lost track of time because I went through 2 or 3 stage battles.
Dude, I
Ugh.
went to a grab party last night. Man, that is not my scene.
You went to a what party?
A graduation party.
Oh, okay. I actually
the
had
time-
my 10-year high school reunion on Friday.
10
Which
years,
was-
God.
10
years.
Mine was
Boston-
15 this year.
Plus, you realize we have been out of college for over 10 years right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm a 32-year-old man. I've come to grips with what I am.
I know what I am.
Popeye,
Yeah.
I am what I am.
Yep.
Fuck it, Doc. I was hungry. Anyway, you ready?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
I'm good to go.
let's bang the rest of this out.
Yep.
All right, ready in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. We got releases. Yay!
Hooray!
U.S. release for the week of June 23rd, 2014. Blaze Blue Chrono Phantasm for the PlayStation Vita.
I never picked that up for PS3. I might check out how that is on Vita. That could be pretty cool to play that game in little sort of fits and spurts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Fits and Spurts is the only way to play that game right now. Another World, aka Out of This World, for the PlayStation 4, PS3, and Vita.
I think I'm going to pick that up for Vita because I picked it up on I think it was one of the Humble Mobile bundles that came out on Android,
Yeah.
and it's really good, but you don't have that like fine control you get with a D-pad on the touchscreen controls for it,
Yeah.
and you really need some fine control for some parts of that game.
Yeah.
Oh. All right. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner 2 for the PlayStation 2 Classics.
God, that game is so good. Oh man. Oh, pick it up. And it has a crazy title.
Is that the one where the cover looks like almost like News from the World?
Yeah.
Like it looks like that? Yeah.
Yep.
I remember
Yeah.
that one.
Super cool.
All right. Valiant Hearts The Great War for XBO, PlayStation 3, PS4, and PC.
That was the World War I super bummer game from Ubisoft's press conference at E3 last week. Didn't know it was coming
Oh.
out this soon. I still kind of don't believe it, but
Wow.
that could be interesting.
All right. Shovel Knight for the Wii U, thirds, and PC.
So excited for this game. Holy crap.
Yeah.
I have to. I hope it comes to PS4 soon. That's
Yeah.
where I would really, really like to play it.
Maybe the Vita too. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it is actually coming native to Vita at some point.
Sweet.
I don't
That's
remember.
all I ask.
All right, let's move on to news stories. The world's largest video game collection sells. This guy's name is Michael Thomason. Sold his collection for $750,250. The game is God, how much was it? Over 11,000 games and 100 consoles.
Wow.
He said
That's all.
for the last 20 years he put himself on a $3,000 a year budget for games, and that craziness is what got him that. I think he didn't sell off his entire collection.
He just sold off the doubles for $750,000.
No, he sold off, I think, the majority of it, except for a couple of games that he really wanted to keep for himself. But even with that, he sold off a pretty serious collection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff. He has the majority of games for every console ever made. It's just astounding. There's someone out there has a gallery of his collection, and it's just stupid amazing looking.
Yeah, it was bananas. I was slowly watching it. 'Cause remember that one we ran into? I think we were just graduating college, and someone was selling their ridiculous collection of was like Nintendo TurboGrafx 16.
Oh, was that the one that was like
Genesis,
$250,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was one
I
for a
remember
quarter million. It was just games solid.
Yeah.
We were, like, I was sending the guy emails like, dude, how much for the Dreamcast section alone? He's like, he sent me an email back. It's either all or nothing, bro. And I'm like,
Curse you. Weird. Next news story we have here, Google is sending out the Pokemon Master Welcome packets right now. So if you caught all 150 Pokemon during their April Fool's gag, you are officially a Google Pokemon Master with a business card included.
Nice.
So I have to give a lot of props to Google for kind of following through with a really dumb joke. And making good on something that they didn't really need to do.
The best part is this article's from Kotaku, and the first and the highest rated comment on there is the video of Homer Simpson yelling "nerd" from their car.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say you're wrong.
And I didn't even have to watch the video to know exactly what that was.
You know that screen cap.
Yeah.
Next news story we have here, Nordic Games is planning to publish games under the THQ name and trademark.
Wow.
So THQ, in some weird way, rises from the grave here.
Grave.
Just so it's such a weird thing to say. Like, we're gonna take the THQ name. Yeah, THQ.
Yeah, we're THQ, guys. Check it out. Look at our face.
We bought their stuff.
It was like whenever
We did.
whoever bought Atari, they're like, we're gonna put out Atari games again. It's like, why?
And then whoever bought Atari after that new Atari failed.
Yeah, it's like,
And then when that happened again, whoever bought Atari, because that happened like 3 or 4 times.
yeah, there's been 3 or 4 Ataris at this point.
Yeah.
It's so weird. The only thing I can hope is that I know Nordic Games have the right to Darksiders. Just finish it out. Just wrap it up.
Make it
That's
happen.
all I want.
Who got Saints Row?
Crap.
Deep Silver?
Deep Silver, yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was right. No, Deep Silver put out Saints Row 4. So, Deep Silver is really just a publishing house. They kept all that talent. They kept that team intact, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Which,
well.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
that thing
I need to
prints
play
money
a
at this
Saints
point.
Row. Need a Saints Row game.
Yeah.
I'm itching to go back and play 4 again.
I feel like next year is probably a pretty good time for them to announce a new Saints Row game for the new consoles. E3,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
I just need to go out and blow some stuff up with the dubstep gun.
It's true. Next news story here, speaking of Watch Dogs, a intrepid modder found a lot of old graphical assets hidden in the PC version of Watch Dogs. A lot of people are saying, oh, it's the E3 2012 version. Not really. That's not... That game was never going to happen. But it's pretty much... It makes that game look a lot better on PC. There are a lot of additional effects that they pulled out of there. Surprisingly, Ubisoft actually made a comment about it and said, like, yeah, we left it in there because it was going to take more to pull it out, and it made the game unstable and in some parts unplayable. So it was easier to just kind of leave it in. So you can do all that stuff. That's fine. Just, be careful.
warned. Yeah.
When your game crashes,
And your
told you
save
so?
file-
Yeah,
and
don't
your
come
save file gets
whining to
corrupted.
us.
Now, my question is that a handful of people is going to enable this. Like, I sort of want to be able to point at Ubisoft rather that I feel like they should have made this like a clear set of settings that people could have enabled from the forefront, at least on some level. They should have done some sort of like...
Or like experimental settings or something.
Yeah, just if you're going to leave it in there, don't hide it.
Yeah, I feel like, though, if you do that, then you... Without some really clear language, you still have to support the support calls at some point. Where it's like,
yeah.
I turned my game to experimental, and now I can't load save points. And it's like, well, did you read the text when you turn on saying you don't get support? And it's like, yes, that's why I'm calling you. It's like, no.
Do you understand what the word "don't" means?
Yeah, and I feel like they never really hid it. It's just one of those things where if you go at the last minute to take it out, it causes more problems than just saying, like, okay, you just can't use these assets over here. You know, it's like some games where people 10, 15 years later pull out like hidden audio files from it. It's like, oh yeah, we recorded that, but we kind of cut that whole scene.
Yeah.
So
I also heard there was from like just random comments on like Reddit and stuff that this actually pretty heavily impacts depth of field.
I think it can, yeah.
Yeah, so that could look weird, and I heard there was some issues with like draw distance as well.
Yeah, I mean, from a lot of people are saying like, oh, install this mod and it's the E3 2012 Watch Dogs. Not really. I mean, it makes certain parts of the game look better. Like rain is more dense.
Yeah,
there's better shadows from headlights on cars. But it's not this sort of...
That's important.
Yeah, it's not like this
Totally.
sort of thing where, like, you turn it on and it's like, oh, now I have a lighting engine. It's not like Quake 1 when you bought a 3DFX card and you're like, oh my god, this stuff is see-through? There's colors? You know, it's not this overwhelming, huge change to this game. It just looks better if you have a great rig, and it has the risk of running like crap.
Yeah.
So... Nobody should be really mad. I think it's neat. I think it's neat that someone pulled it out pretty quickly. But the other Jay-Z says, I still don't understand the depth of field. Really need to look up a YouTube video on that so I can figure out what the hell I'm tweaking. Please do. There are a bunch of good YouTube videos on what depth of field means and why the depth of field is different between consoles and PC and why you want to change it on PC.
Now, are you referring to depth of field, or are you referring to field of view? Because those are
field
two
of
different
view.
things.
Yeah. I'm more referring to field of view. Depth of field for the other Jay-Z is more like, hey, is stuff in the distance blurry or is stuff in the distance clear?
Yeah.
That's how much do you want to render in front of you?
Yeah, that's depth of field. A higher depth of field has things in the distance being clear. A lower one has stuff being fuzzy.
Yeah.
So just looks more like people's eyes.
Yeah, which I in some games when you're going through an action sequence in engine, they'll dynamically adjust that. Like I think the Uncharted games do that a lot.
Yeah.
Hey, ladies.
And speaking of open world games that have the word dogs in it, shut up. Jesus. I hate this cat so much. There was a listing on UK retailer Shopto that had a Sleeping Dogs HD for PS4, Xbox One, and PC.
Oh, I would so buy that. It looks so... If you have a PC that can run it, like, just even if you can't play it, put it on the highest settings you
just
can.
wander around the night market.
Look at it.
Yeah, it just... I would... That would be one, HD, quote-unquote HD version that I would actually get behind, because nobody played this game, and it's one of the best open-world games. And to give it kind of a second chance, hopefully in front of the often rumored Watch Dogs or Sleeping Dogs 2, that'd be pretty great.
Or as like a pack-in with Sleeping Dogs 2.
Yeah.
Even.
I'd take that too.
Oh man, just I played this game probably, I think it was last year I played and beat this game. And it is so good.
It's astoundingly well put together.
It's extraordinarily well put together. There's tons of stuff to do, and it doesn't hold your hand and force you to do that's the side stuff and say, hey, you should really do one or two of these. But you actually want to do some of this stuff. And just like the outfits you can get that look just absolutely ridiculous. And all the extra DLC they had for it, and all of it was of quality. It wasn't none of it was bad.
And if you're watching the live stream right now and you would like to purchase Sleeping Dogs, it's $4 on Steam right now for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
So, and then I think all the DLC is probably on sale too. So at that all of that. All right, here's the Sleeping Dogs collection, which is $8 and includes everything.
Nice.
And if you already have it, the DLC is $7.
Yeah.
So go do that. That game is amazing.
Yeah.
Did I buy that game?
Probably. You probably have it on 360. That's where I played it, and it was good.
Yep.
And our last news story here, Guilty Gear. The Daisuke Ishwatari, the CEO and dude behind Guilty Gear, said how to pronounce the new Guilty Gear's name. It is Guilty Gear XRD-sign-. That's actually pronounced Guilty Gear Xrd. What? What?
What are you doing?
At least
so
it's not
dumb.
Tenor.
What?
Why would you do this to us?
That is absurd.
Arc System Works. I thought you loved me.
They don't.
How dare you?
It's just like double Zax. Like, what is that?
Yeah, just two X's, and they're like, yeah, doubles X. It's like, no,
No.
that's not how humans speak. Ugh.
Oh.
So dumb.
Oh, games.
Moving on to emails. The other Jay-Z wrote in with a really big email about some stuff that Aisha Tyler said after E3. I'm sorry I haven't had a chance to read it yet and send it over to the other guys. I'll do that this week, and we'll talk about it next week.
Sounds good.
Dave, a.k.a. RoboPig, writes in. He says, hey guys, since it's Father's Day, I figured a dad-related question was in order. So have you ever tried to get your dad into gaming? Does your dad have any gaming or geek-related hobbies? I was able to get my dad into playing golf games since it was his favorite hobby. The Jack Nicklaus golf games were his favorite since he could design courses in them, which I didn't know. That's kind of awesome.
I didn't know that.
And I will always remember his look of confusion when I talked him into taking me to see Tron. He was a diehard Western and military movie fan, so his mind just couldn't comprehend the neon splendor that was Tron. My dad actually had games before I was born. So he had a Atari 2600 when that came out, and I think he bought the NES for himself, and then I just pretty much stole it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I had a 2600 growing up with my dad. He loved Missile Command. We had, that terrible port of Pac-Man at one point, and
which I just bought, by the way.
Oh, nice!
I bought a copy
Very
of that
nice.
for like $1.50.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably from that that landfill. So
yeah, probably. It does look a little rough, so probably.
And we also had an NES, and I'm pretty sure we had that before I was born. It might have been more like for my older sister, but it very quickly became mine.
Yeah.
But me and my dad used to play Bases Loaded on NES, and he was obsessed with the original Donkey Kong. Actually, for my bachelor party, he went with us to Galloping Ghost for the couple hours we were there, and that's pretty much what he played. He played Donkey Kong the whole time. Yeah.
Not really for me.
Yeah.
He's just a dude that was never interested in those video games.
He didn't mind buying them for me, but
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't his bag.
the only thing he drew a line in was Mortal Kombat when that came out on my birthday.
Weird. He must have
Like,
seen
it was
all
like-
the news reports.
It's something like that.
Yeah.
I was like, but yet you give me copious amounts of quarters to play the same thing at BW3s when we're waiting for wings.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Not in my house.
But no, it's that. I mean, we played pinball and stuff a lot, but other than
Yeah.
you never really. It's like always catch out, and he'd just be like, "Ugh."
Whatever.
It's just, yeah, awesome.
It keeps him quiet. RoboPig writes in with another email here. He said, hey guys, wondering if you have a game plan when it comes to the Steam summer sale. Do you just look to save on a couple big games or gorge on cheaper indies? I like to scope out on the low-cost options and buy multi-packs to gift the people on my friends list that wish listed the game. Do you think the success of Steam and Steam sales will help put pressure on Sony and Microsoft to offer better pricing on their digital offerings? I never really go in and have a plan per se. I've been a lot better this year with the summer sale, just trying to make sure I only buy games that I'm actually going to play, or if I may not play them, are they $60 games that are like $3 that I was going to play at some point? And I drew the line this year. I'm not going to buy any early access games. I just don't have the time to play. Not really. I'd rather spend my time with the game when it's done and buy it for full price then, instead of like buying it for half off and it's not finished yet.
Yeah, I agree with that. I only bought 1 or 2 games so far, but I think they've all been, with the exception of one, which was Far Cry 3, they've all been under $5.
Yeah.
And Far Cry 3, I got the whatever edition. It was like the $10 one as opposed to the 7. Yeah, it was like, well, for $2.50 more, I don't have to worry about buying everything else eventually.
I actually go through and use it as an opportunity to pick up DLC. Because often a lot of the DLC is really cheap. Like I bought the DLC for Don't Starve, the Reign of Giants one, and it was like $2. It's like, okay, if I get back into Don't Starve, I'll pick it up with I'll be able to play with all that DLC.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? I lied. I picked up The Walking Dead Season 2 because it's about to finish up, and I would like to play that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Knobs, anything you've picked up yet?
It's clearly purely impulse for me. If I see something when I sign on, which I rarely sign on to Steam anymore, but it's... if I see some, I want to play that. I'll
like, I haven't played that yet.
There is no plan in any of my purchasing ever of any time ever.
That's true. That's just a general blanket statement.
Yeah, it is actually the only thing I'm excited to buy is the Raid 2 when it comes out. That's the one thing like I'm watching my calendar. I'm gonna buy it on digital on the 24th. I'm gonna buy it again on the 8th when it comes out.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to tweets here. The other Jay-Z sends a string of 2 tweets here. First one says, do you think the average gamer gets the cues or things like that, or are things like that aimed at folks who have played games their whole life? For the sake of clarity, when can you tell a game is urging you to move on to the next level without explicitly saying so? I ran into that with Watch Dogs earlier today, where I was wandering around some like back alley place, and it's like, oh, you need to get in this building. And it's like, oh, maybe I should go through the only doorway that has a light above it. Oh, yeah, hey, those doors open. I feel like that's just a modern design thing lately, where it's just sort of, especially for fast-paced things, just kind of wiring your levels design to help your brain automatically know, oh, I should probably go over here because everything else is red and here's the one green light in the environment. Hey, that worked, yay.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that personally because I tend to not be aware of my surroundings in general.
Yeah.
That's just sort of a thing. I find it more difficult with JRPGs. Specifically because they have a very bad tendency of just putting something in a text box that is literally everything you need to know, and you can't actually get that character to repeat that information.
Yeah, and there's no like history of chat or anything.
Mm-hmm. And there's no big arrow or light pointing you saying you have to go here.
Yeah.
And I have a short attention span as it is. I mean, JRPGs tend to be sort of my downfall because I really love them, but I can't pay attention long enough to gather the story.
Yeah.
It even happens with games I've played multiple times. I'll be sitting there going like, oh, where do I have to go? Wait, am I going to that thing or am I coming back from that thing?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of reach reversal and things like that. It is definitely a modern issue as far as, pointing you in the correct direction. But I really appreciate it when a game says, hey, dummy,
over
you're
here.
supposed to go that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like one of the best indicators for me is when the bodies of your slaughtered enemies do not disappear, and you're like, oh yeah, I already killed all those guys. I gotta go back the other way.
Yeah. All right, next tweet here is from Mina. don't forget, Summer Games Done Quick is coming up June 22nd to June 29th. So going on right now. A bunch of cool speedrun stuff happening again.
Yeah.
Oddball writes in and says, what do you think would be a good price model for PlayStation Now?
Anything but what they're doing right now.
I'm still in the beta, so I don't know. I don't think I can talk about the actual prices.
Okay. Well, I saw the leak. Can I?
Sure. Whatever you'd like to talk about.
So let me pull up these leaked images here really quick.
I think whether I'm in the beta or not, I think my opinion would be allow me to upgrade my PlayStation Plus subscription to be a PlayStation Now subscription.
Yes. Make it like a cell phone sort of contract where you have X amount of minutes and or hours per monthly cycle.
The other Jay-Z in chat says hashtag PlayStation No. Hashtag Zing.
Bazinga. But basically, the way the prices are structured, it's like per game, you get X amount of hours for a small amount. You get like 4 hours for like Guacamelee is one of them. You get like 4 hours for like $3.99. You get like 12 hours for like $6.99, and it goes up, and it goes all the way to like 30 days, 90 days, and 90 days you may as well just buy the game because it's the same exact price.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem to like lead you to that. It doesn't seem to like point you in that direction. It doesn't go, oh well, if you want this for 90 days, it's on sale for $10 right now. Like just go buy it. Which seems like a missed opportunity to me, or maybe it's intentional. Maybe they just want people to keep renting stuff.
Well, and to be fair, it's still in beta, so
yeah,
I feel like if people are giving them the feedback and saying like, no, I'm not. That pricing is ridiculous. Then I feel like this is a Sony that's actually listening,
and I certainly hope so, because they did mention. Just to clarify all this, and this is what a lot of people are forgetting, they did say that they are trying out numerous pricing models throughout this beta.
Yep.
So this may just be one pricing model they're trying and just testing the waters. And that's the whole point of a beta, is to give feedback. And the people I see writing Sony off just because they're beta testing something, and they're clearly calling it a beta test.
And the prices are beta.
It's
like
absurd.
I could probably sign into PlayStation Now, and my prices might be different.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
I really think they should tie it back to PlayStation Plus. I think that's a good way to upsell people onto PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
With a baseline PlayStation Plus subscription, you get 10 free hours of PlayStation Now time per month.
Yeah,
if you upgrade your PlayStation Plus to a full like PS Plus / PS Now subscription, you get 50 hours per month for PlayStation Now, or 25.
The other Jay-Z said, "Is it still a beta if you're taking people's money?" Absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's one of the new betas. He said I had the same question about Hearthstone. Yeah, I mean at some level you're continuing to fund the game, and there are going to be people that are more than willing to give money during any portion. Look at early access. That's very much the same thing. You're paying for a product that is not finished and may not be finished. So if people will pay, why not take their money?
Yeah,
it's still a business at the end of the day. Even though that kind of sounds crappy, but
it's the abiding principle of capitalism.
Yeah. Many Derek writes in, I read an article about more powerful storyline indie games, depression, post-abuse, PTSD, etc. Do you think that is good or bad? I think it's universally good as long as it treats it with respect.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as a book. I mean, you have novels that take topics like that very seriously, and then you have books that use those sorts of things as trite plot drivers or as shock value that aren't really treated with any sort of respect.
Yeah,
and it's just as offensive.
The more serious games we get, it won't really hurt the industry. It'll only make it seem more legitimate.
Yeah, it'll become. This is actually part of one of the many conversations I had with old Emo yesterday, which was story. Video games are becoming the novel of this generation. It's no longer, oh, what books are you reading? It's sort of, hey, what games are you playing? And games like The Last of Us are those novels.
Yeah.
Yep.
And those are becoming very much, sit down, have a single player experience, and talk about it, which is sort of why I kind of love that we do Game Club.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of going to just get better as these types of games come out.
Yep. Yeah, it turns it more into the book club for games that I tried to make it originally, but there were never that many games to do that with,
Yeah, and it's slowly changing.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a great medium as long as you get emotional responses to things and things are deeper that you can delve into and actually extrapolate what you're feeling about it. I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's never a bad thing.
No, not at all.
And our last tweet this week is from Naked Pear. Says, "Hey guys, with all the free gaming goodness, Xbox Live, PSN Plus, is anyone feeling fatigued just as the Steam sale starts?"
Yes.
A little bit. I feel like it's kind of like, oh, more games I'm never going to be... That's why I haven't played that many, or bought that many.
Yeah, I bought PlayStation All-Stars from that only on PlayStation sale they had, because I actually really enjoyed the little bit of time I played that. And I haven't even installed it on my Vita yet, because I was like, oh, Steam sale! And oh, Final Fantasy 4 Job Fiesta, let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just kind of, there's too many. I mean, I don't know. And I haven't been spending a lot of time playing stuff on my PC anyway. I mean, like Final Fantasy 5, but a 15-year-old game doesn't necessarily count.
Yeah.
But that's all the tweets and emails we have this week. Thank you very much for listening. You can find everything on tvgp.tv. You can email us tvgpfans@gmail.com. Tweet us at tvgp. And watch me play Final Fantasy V and Descent into Madness. Twitch.tv/BostonHannon.
Yep.
Yeah, and don't forget to join your forums. Please mark yourselves on the map. Join us for Monday Night Game Night. Is probably going to be Battlefield 4 for a while. On the Xbox One, that is at 10 p.m. EST. Steam Game Night, Thursday nights at 10 p.m. EST. Don't know what they're playing.
Yeah.
A smorgasbord of good games.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm going to try and do better about twitching some of my Battlefield madness. So
yeah.
The current TVGP Game Club game is Brutal Legend, and it is awesome. It might be on sale very shortly for the Steam sale if you're playing it on PC. If you are playing it on PC, make sure you have a 360 controller or even a PS3 controller handy.
Yep.
Because that is impossible to play with a mouse and keyboard. They didn't really make any changes to the interface, so it is still very controller-centric.
Yep.
So that's really my only piece of advice, and man, just enjoy the metal. The other thing I wanted to announce here was that we're doing a Chicago area TVGP meetup at Galloping Ghost Arcade on July 19th. I'll pretty much just be at the arcade all day from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Yeah.
So just if you're in Chicago or Chicago adjacent, feel free to come by. I will be the 6'2" large gentleman in the TVGP shirt.
There you go.
Yeah.
As seen on TV.
As seen on the internet.
Oh, and preliminary timing for the official meetup in the Cleveland area adjacent. We're probably looking somewhere in October, probably middle of October is what we're doing. We're gonna
once it cools off.
Yeah, we're gonna set up some whirly ball and some food, and we'll have some good times.
Nice. And don't forget you can watch this show live, twitch.tv/E1M1 Network. Thank you very much, everyone, for writing in and watching live stream and coming and chatting with us. We love everybody that listens, and we really love interacting with you guys while we're recording this dumb show. Thank you for listening. We'll see you all next week.
Laters.
Peace.
All right, what do we got for titles? I don't have any.
I got a few, but I kind of I'll be honest, I gave up about the third of the way through the last segment.
It's okay.
So, chat. I'm going to read these real slow so you can type yours out. So I got BF 4 times 2. Go on. Hugs at 1200. Getting hugs.
Getting hugs.
Slidey stabby move. Slow motion pinwheel. The answer is not your face.
Yeah.
I'm just a battlefielder. Riding the moon. Purely offensive. It's basically Stormwind. Very excited for the beta. The catsuit game. Fits and spurts. Sold off the doubles. Now I have a lighting engine and Xrd.
Xrd.
I like the answer is not your face.
Yeah.
I think that one's really...
I think it needs to be the answer is not your face, in quotes.
Not your face.
Yeah.
Yeah. The answer is not your face. I don't even know how you would emphasize that.
The answer is not, quote, your face, end quote.
Yeah.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 348 for June 23rd, 2014. The answer is not your face.
Oh, bullets suck.
What about my forehead?
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching the live stream. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Later.
See ya.